Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, whatever time of the day it happens to be when you're watching this. I'm back once again for another drink review. So, what am I going to be reviewing today? I guess you already know what I'm going to be reading today because it probably already says it in the description of the video, which I haven't done yet, so you're in the future, watch it. Whatever, you know what I'm gonna review, all right? You know what I'm doing. Today, I'm doing this Steel Reserve High Gravity Slow Brewed, exceptionally smooth flavored 211. 211 is what this is. So, my last review, I sought out to get a Steel Reserve, and I ended up reviewing a Spike Punch instead. Now, it came to my attention, as many people pointed out afterward, that Steel Reserve is actually it's a beer, or I guess a malt liquor. Technically, is correct. I didn't realize this. I didn't realize that this was an alcoholic beverage. So, of course, this explains why I was not able to find this at my regular location. So I traveled across town to find the Steel Reserve. It's extra malted barley and select hops for extra gravity. This is a high gravity lager. Like I said, it's 211. The 211 mark, based on the medieval symbol for steel. So it's educational as well. Appears on Steel Reserve. Well, you don't need me to read this to you. Let's just dive right into it. I've got my Steel Reserve. I've never reviewed anything like this before, so it opens right up. All right. Let's kind of get a pour here. See, right away it's foamy. Let's fill it up right here. It's got a nice little bit of foam here. This is a malt liquor. The smell right away, it smells like there's a little bit of a pungentness to it. I will be comparing this back to the Spike Punch a little bit, even though I reviewed that one first, and I guess this is the original product. But I mean, let's just jump right into it. Steel Reserve High Gravity Lager going in. Got my camera up too high today. You can't see the can. I'll get it out like this. Steel Reserve. So it is highly carbonated. Of course, those first few sips that I took were a bit more carbonated because it had all the foam on top. It does have a little bit of bitterness to it when you first sip. I feel the bubbles kind of wash over your tongue. It's got this cold bubbliness to it, and then as you drink it down, it kind of leaves a little bit of an aftertaste. The aftertaste is not entirely pleasant. It's not bad necessarily. It leaves a slightly unpleasant aftertaste, but that's easily remedied by simply taking another sip. If you let it coat your tongue and get to the back, on the sides of the tongue here, you can actually taste a little bit of a sweetness to it that I didn't really get at first, the sweetness of the Steel Reserve. At first it's bitter, but if you wash it around, there's a definite sweetness. On the back of the tongue, if you let it sit on the back of the tongue, there's there's a robustness to it. Overall, it's a complex flavor, but not a bad one. Now it is because of the carbonation, it does feel a little heavy in the stomach when you drink it. So overall, it's not unpleasant. I'm going to let it settle a little bit. Now, of course, I had to go to the other side of town to pick this up. Like I said, this is an alcoholic beverage, so it might not be available at every location. So I am tempted to knock a couple points off of my entire experience because I did have to go out of my way to get this item. Now, that's not the fault of the product. I can hear you already saying, well, that's not really fair to judge the product. I'm not just talking about this product in a vacuum. I'm talking about my entire experience of locating, finding the product, and consuming it. It was not as convenient for me to go and get this. And the location that I ended up at, it had... I'm just going to come right out and say it, ladies and gentlemen. It was not in the most pleasant environment. Maybe I'm selfish or entitled, but I like to be able to walk into a store, select my item, purchase that item, and leave the store without being confronted, harassed, or solicited in any particular way. And at this particular location, which I will not name in this video, there were just lots of people hanging around, loitering, as it were, outside of this location. I understand it. You if you're at the store and you don't have enough money to purchase what you want from the store, perhaps you shouldn't be at the store. Perhaps you should leave that store to go recollect your funds and return to the store to purchase that item. If you are outside of the store asking for me to give you additional money in order to complete your chosen transaction, I feel like that is negatively impacting not only my experience, but several store goers' experiences. So my recommendation to the store, which I am not reviewing today, but my recommendation to the store would be to put up a sign that says, "No loitering." There was a man who was bartering. He was offering to sell me loose cigarettes for 50 cents each. I don't even know if that's a good deal or not. I just don't know. So I don't know. I don't know if it's fair to take points off of the Steel Reserve because of the environment which I had to purchase the item. But again, that's what I got. That's what I had to go through. So that's how I'm choosing to review this product, is not just simply as a beverage, but as a full buying experience. And my buying experience was negatively impacted by where I had to go to procure this item. So, what am I going to be reviewing? The Steel Reserve High Gravity Lager. So I guess maybe it's not a malt liquor. Maybe it's a lager. Is that a beer? I don't know. I guess if it's a lager, I'm sure somebody will correct me in the comment section, ladies and gentlemen. If you are not sure, or I'm not sure, you are sure, I'm sure that you're sure. So you should leave me the explanation in the comments. You'll tell me what I'm doing wrong, I'm sure. So it's a lager. So I'll just call it the lager because that's what they call it right here on the can, the Steel Reserve. So I'm going to debut a new review system for the Steel Reserve. Because this is an alcoholic beverage, I don't think it's fair to judge it on the 10-point scale that I normally use. My 10-point scale is intended for family-friendly beverages, and depending on your sensibilities, your backgrounds, this might not be a family-friendly beverage because, of course, it does have some alcohol content to it, 8.1% alcohol/volume. So I'm going to be using a 5-point scale, with a 5 being the highest and correspondingly 1 being the lowest, which would make a 3 in the middle. So if you're confused, if I were to give this a 4, that would be more than a 3. So I'm instituting a new review policy for the Steel Reserve, or for any adult products. It's going to be out of 5 instead of out of 10. And what I'm going to give this out of 5, it's the thing I'm going to give it a 5 out of 5. I mean, this is what a lager should taste like. It's a 5. This is pretty good. Pretty darn good. In fact, since I already established that this is not a family-friendly review, I'm going to say it's pretty damn good. And that's my review. Steel Reserve, it's pretty damn good. It's pretty fucking good.